The truth is a lie. The code is broken. For centuries, a shadow war has raged, not on the battlefield, but in the halls of power, in the vaults of the Vatican, and beneath the searing sands of Nevada. What if the history books were a lie? What if the greatest achievements of humanity were not ours, but a secret gift or a terrible bargain? The true history of humanity is a dialogue, not a monologue. And the other participant is the gray intelligence. The first interaction, it wasn't a hostile invasion, it was a cold clinical exchange. The grays, driven by a logic far beyond our comprehension, offered one thing in exchange for Earth's resources and the right to observe: the absolute operating system for success, a code that guarantees the acquisition of wealth, influence, and global control. And they gave this code to a select few: Freemasons, Illuminati, the hidden community, and forced silence. Who were these chosen few? They evolved into the organizations you hear whispered about in the dark corners of the internet. The Freemasons, not just as a fraternal order, but as the initial architects given the blueprints, the Illuminati, the keepers of the most forbidden, advanced portions of the code. Their power was secured by a single, terrifying mechanism: silence enforced by global institutions. Every government official, every powerful banker, every mainstream media outlet was brought under a mandate of absolute denial. Area 51, then Bermuda Triangle, and more. The gateways to the gray world, locations like Area 51, are not just research bases, they are the terrestrial points of contact, the physical meeting grounds where the technology, and more importantly, the knowledge is transferred. The Bermuda Triangle isn't a natural anomaly, it's a controlled zone, a vast pulsating energy field used for their transport and observation, cloaked by orchestrated natural phenomena. The chaos is the control. Identity hidden, followed by $100 billion secret. The leaked confirmation tonight in 2025, the code is broken. We spoke to 3 former ultra-high-level U.S. insiders. Persons so strong, so entrenched in the structure of power, that their very existence confirms this truth. They confirmed that the world's most successful ventures, the most baffling political decisions, the creation of unfathomable fortunes, all trace back to the cold, rational logic of the gray code. We hide their identities for the safety of their lives, because what they leak to us is the blueprint for total, unstoppable success. This is not motivation. This is a decoded operating manual for life. The grays did not offer technology. They offered a paradigm shift. They offered the cold, hard, logical rules of how the universe actually rewards effort. These are the rules the world's top billionaires and hidden masters live by. They are emotionless, absolute, and guaranteed. Rule 1, non-linear acceleration. The rule defined: operate at a scale of effort and thinking that is 10 times what is logically required for the immediate goal. The universe rewards exponential momentum, not incremental persistence. The gray code states the human mistake is thinking success is a line. Work $X dollar, get reward $Y dollar. The alien truth: you are not building a ladder, you are building a launch pad. The energy debt. The mechanics of nonlinearity. Normal human effort dissipates like steam. Nonlinear effort builds internal pressure. The first 90% of your 10x effort feels like absolute failure. This is the energy debt accumulation phase, the energy storage. The uninitiated quit here. But when the critical mass is reached, the release is instant and overwhelming. The true secret: you must act as if the exponential reward is already guaranteed. The 1x mindset. Oh, truly grasp the power of nonlinear acceleration. We must look at a moment in history that redefined capitalism. A move so audacious, the rest of the world called it economic suicide. The year is 1914. The manufacturing world was chained by the 1x mindset. A typical industrialist paid the market rate for labor around $2.34 a day to keep costs low and maximize short-term profit. They saw workers as expenses, as simple cogs in a machine. $5 wage announcement. Henry Ford, however, had the gray code whispered into his ear. He was practicing Rule 1, operate at 10x the necessary scale. Ford announced he would pay his workers $5 a day. This wasn't a raise, it was a doubling of the market rate overnight. Every financial advisor, every competitor, and every economic pundit declared he had lost his mind. Logically, this move should have bankrupted the company. It instantly doubled his highest controllable cost. But Ford understood the nonlinear result. This was not an expense. It was a massive, system-wide investment. Effect 1, the talent singularity. Every ambitious, skilled, and dedicated worker in the nation instantly flocked to Detroit. Ford could now pick the absolute best talent from the entire labor pool. His competitors were left with the dregs, the unreliable, the mediocre. He secured a massive, sustainable advantage by willingly spending 10x the necessary wage. Energy, debt repaid. This led to Effect 2, the productivity leap. The high wage reduced employee turnover, a crushing hidden cost of industrial production from nearly 370% annually down to just 16%. With happy, dedicated, and high-quality workers, the efficiency of the assembly line skyrocketed. The energy debt of the initial high wage was instantly repaid by an exponential leap in output, reducing the cost of production per car, far outweighing the cost per worker. The 10x effort made the whole process 10x cheaper, the ultimate leverage. And finally, the most powerful nonlinear effect, market creation. Ford realized that for his mass-produced car to work, he needed mass consumers. By paying his workers $5 a day, he was effectively giving them the money required to buy the very cars they were building. He didn't just build cars, he created the American middle-class consumer market. He was operating on a 10x scale, not just manufacturing the product, but manufacturing the demand itself. He used a massive input cost to secure a monumental nonlinear output, a monopoly on both the best labor and the biggest customer base. His competitors were playing checkers. Ford, armed with the gray code, was playing the economy itself. Rule 2. Gray zone leverage. The rule defined: identify the points of maximum systemic friction in a system and exploit the unwritten rules or legal gaps to gain an overwhelming, non-obvious advantage. Do not break the system. Build a better, invisible one inside it. Human morality is the biggest cage. The grays operate in the gray zone, the space between what is stated and what is possible. The mechanics of the gray zone. All systems, governments, markets are based on legacy code. The gray rule dictates that you must constantly audit this code to find the zero-day exploits, the legal loopholes that no one has noticed or regulated. The gray zone master identifies the single bottleneck or regulatory advantage that, when pressed, unlocks a disproportionate amount of capital. They simply do the thing that provides the maximum unfair advantage legally. The elite don't break the law, they write the law around their activity. Example: Rothschild. 1815, the information war, the gray network, pigeons and spies. The 1x mindset of the day dictated that news of victory or defeat would take days, maybe a full week, to reach the London Stock Exchange via official channels. But Rothschild, a master of the gray code, had already built a secret, independent system. He had deployed a private network of the fastest couriers and specialized high-speed homing pigeons across the English Channel. This was a private intelligence network, a gray zone advantage that was technically legal but gave him the monopoly on the future. The silent selling. Panic trigger. On the morning of June 20th, 1,815 days before Wellington's official messenger arrived, Rothschild received the critical flash: Wellington had won. But here is where the gray logic dictates a move that would baffle the emotional human mind. Rothschild did not immediately buy. Instead, he walked onto the floor of the London Stock Exchange and began silently selling his British government consols. Not a loud announcement, but a calculated, steady drip of selling that looked like an exit. The avalanche effect, weaponizing fear. The entire exchange was watching him. Rothschild was the most informed man in Europe. His actions were treated as gospel. His selling triggered instant, hysterical panic. The other investors concluded that if Rothschild was selling, it meant only one terrifying thing: Napoleon had won. A frenzied sell-off began, a psychological avalanche. plummeting the value of British bonds to near worthless levels. The public fear was the leverage multiplier that he had intentionally weaponized. The ultimate recalibration, buying a nation. While the entire financial world was collapsing under the weight of its own fear, Rothschild's hidden agents positioned strategically across the exchange began to buy back every single bond they could acquire for pennies on the pound. When the official news of Wellington's victory finally arrived, the bond prices skyrocketed back up, but it was too late. Through this technically legal, entirely manipulative act of information arbitrage and engineered panic, Rothschild had bought up a massive, controlling share of the entire British economy. He performed a silent recalibration on the nation's finances, using the gray code to convert human hysteria into unstoppable, overwhelming financial power. Rule 3, not the least, contextual detachment. The rule defined, decouple the self-ego, emotion, fear, pride from the business process. Success is a function of optimized input, not personal struggle. View all outcomes, failure, and victory as simple, neutral data points for the next iteration. The grays revealed that human emotion is the single greatest impediment to success. Fear and ego are like anchor weights on a spaceship. The rule defined, decouple the self-ego, emotion, fear, pride from the business process. Success is a function of optimized input, not personal struggle. View all outcomes, failure, and victory as simple, neutral data points for the next iteration. The grays revealed that human emotion is the single greatest impediment to success. Fear and ego are like anchor weights on a spaceship. The mechanics of detachment. Most humans interpret failure as a personal indictment, which shuts down the entire system. The gray rule treats failure as a massive, high-value data download. The detached observer immediately dismantles and stress tests the winning strategy, assuming it is already obsolete because victory breeds hubris. This is the 5-dimensional view. You can sacrifice a $10 million project detail if it provides a key data point that protects a $1 billion future context. Example, Warren Buffett, emotion equals gravity. The most profound secret of the gray code is also the simplest. You are your own worst enemy. The extraterrestrial observers saw that humanity's greatest potential, creativity, love, empathy, was also its greatest flaw, emotion. Emotion is the gravity that pulls you down. To truly achieve the scale of a Rothschild or a Ford, you must master Rule 3, the primacy of contextual detachment. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, is the modern master of this alien logic. 2008, Fear Max. The 1x mindset of the average investor is a perpetual cycle of two emotions, fear and greed. They buy out of excitement and sell out of panic. This makes them predictable, controllable, and fundamentally unable to operate at a massive scale. Now, think back to 2008. The world was not experiencing a financial downturn, it was experiencing a psychological breakdown. Fear was not an emotion. It was a physical, tangible force that paralyzed global finance. Fear as data. Greedy when others are fearful. While the entire world was running for cover, screaming for the government to step in, Buffett was operating with the clinical precision of a gray surgeon. His famous mantra, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful," is not folk wisdom. It is the core application of detachment. He was not feeling the market, he was observing the emotion of the market and treating that human fear as a massive, high-value data point. When the data showed maximum non-rational panic, the formula dictated one course of action: acquire. The emotionless acquisition. Goldman Sachs. Consider his massive immediate injection of capital into institutions like Goldman Sachs during the deepest panic. He didn't see a failing bank, he saw a powerful long-term asset discounted by 80% due to human hysteria. He made $1, $5, $1 billion investment in Goldman Sachs and another substantial investment in Bank of America, demanding terms like guaranteed dividends and preferred stock that were incredibly advantageous. He wasn't taking a risk. He was simply making a trade based on the context of future value, completely divorced from the detail of the immediate chaos. Victory is a trap. Final synthesis. This is the ultimate lesson of Rule 3. Detachment allows you to execute the first two rules flawlessly. You can pursue the 10x nonlinear acceleration because you are not paralyzed by the early failure data. You can exploit the gray zone leverage because you are not blinded by moral or emotional attachment to the existing system. The detached observer never celebrates victory, because victory is a trap. It breeds the hubris that makes you believe your method is permanent. Buffett's success is the cold, hard proof that if you can convert human emotion into mere input data, you hold the ultimate asymmetric advantage over the rest of the world. The code is yours. You now possess the 3 pillars of the gray code. For centuries, this knowledge was the ultimate asymmetric advantage, hoarded by the Illuminati and the other chosen few. It allowed them to ascend beyond the reach of human competition. The veil is now thin. Recap the rules as weapons. Rule 1. Stop trying to climb a wall. Find the launch pad. Rule 2. The rules are a suggestion for the weak. Write your own rules inside the system. Rule 3. Emotion is the gravity that pulls you down. Be the emotionless observer. The final warning. The insiders who gave us this information, the strongest persons in the USA who confirm the existence of this alien-driven power structure, risked everything. They knew that once this code was revealed, the hidden community's advantage would begin to crumble, because the moment you start living by the gray rules, you become a threat to their monopoly. Your life up until this moment has been guided by the 1x rules. Slow, incremental, predictable. Tonight, that ends. The system they created is now exposed to you. Your success is no longer a matter of chance. It is a matter of absolute, clinical application of this alien logic. The question remains, when the ultimate operating system for life is delivered directly into your hands, will you run it, or will you delete the file and go back to playing small? The hidden community is watching. Start applying Rule 1 now. Next week, we risk everything and dive into the 4th hidden rule, the darkest secret of all. The code of interdimensional manifestation. It is the secret to controlling more than just money. It is the secret to controlling time itself.